a long way. But people don't trust us because we project ourselves in a negative way. Take, for example, this pandemic and the vaccines. Now, Covaxin is something that is being, made indigenously in India. But look at the trouble they are getting from WHO. Whereas the other one is made, actually Covaxin, I'm not propagating Covaxin, but that is a tried out technology. And India was able to eradicate smallpox, polio with the same type of technology which they used in developing this Covaxin. Whereas Covishield is made by UK, University of Oxford. So because of that, everyone accepts it. And recently there was a controversy, even Indian certificate they don't want to accept. That's because we project ourselves to be something that's negative. So his call to the youth is that do not project what is negative in us. Project the positives. There is development here. We are first in so many things. There is talent here. But we don't give any kind of importance even in the media. Media has also become very sensational, just reporting what is there, how many murder cases, how many women molestation, etc., rather than things that are positive. So this is a call by Dr. Abdul Kalam about his visions for India. Okay, now we'll come to the text. My visions for India by Dr. Abdul Kalam. I'm going into the text. Okay, so please look into your text now. I have three visions for India. In 3,000 years of our history, people from all over the world have come and invaded us, captured our lands, conquered our minds. From Alexander onwards, the Greeks, the Turks, the Mughals, the Portuguese, the British, the French, the Dutch, all of them came and looted us, took over what was ours. Yet we have not done this to any other nation. We have not conquered anyone. We have not grabbed their land, their culture, their history, and tried to enforce our way of life on them. Why? Because we respect the freedom of others. That is why my first vision is that of freedom. I believe that India got its first vision of this in 1857 when we started the War of Independence. It is this freedom that we must protect and nurture and build on. If we are not free, no one will respect us. So these two paragraphs speaks about the first vision that he has, freedom. And he says India has been conquered by so many people. Very true. We only know about British conquering us. That was the last of the conquerors. But prior to that, we had the Greeks, we had the Portuguese, we had the French. Even Pondicherry is a French colony earlier. Mahi was a French colony earlier. Goa was a Portuguese colony earlier. Finally, British came, they defeated everyone and they ruled us from almost 16th, 17th century till we got our independence on August 15th, 1947. So we only remember British ruling us, but there were other conquerors also. Now, India did not conquer. India is a vast country, a very big country. But we did not conquer other nations. Why? We respect the freedom. So freedom is something that is very important. Take your own, leave alone the country. Take your personal life. Imagine if you don't have freedom to do what you want. Freedom with responsibility, okay? But your parents say you should eat only this morning. You should study at such and such a time only. That's curtailing your freedom. So we all like to have freedom. But freedom, as I told you, comes with responsibility. You should be responsible for yourself. It is not that I have the freedom. No, I can do what I want. I can come to my house anytime I want. I can spend the money lavishly. No. Even if you earn, you should know how to spend the money wisely. So freedom is something which we all love to enjoy. This pandemic has actually curtailed our freedom, especially when we had the lockdown and all. It was so difficult, to be in the house. Our freedom was curtailed, reduced. You can't go out anywhere. Beach was not closed. Now everything is open, but it was really suffocating. Theaters were closed, beaches were closed, malls were closed. These are the places where we just go have freedom, to eat what we want, to be with our friends, to enjoy. So we know what it is when freedom is controlled. So Abdul Kalam says freedom is very important for a nation to grow, to prosper. So his first vision is that every country should be independent, should have freedom. And India respects that virtue of freedom very much. That is the reason why we have not conquered other nations. Okay. Now, second one is development. My second vision for India is for India's development. For 50 years, we have been a developing nation. It is time we see ourselves as a developed nation. We are among the top 5 nations of the world in terms of GDP, or the gross domestic product. We have 10% growth rate in most areas. Our poverty levels are falling. Our achievements are being globally recognized today. Yet, we lack the self-confidence to see ourselves as a developed nation, self-reliant and self-assured. This incorrect? So that is, he explains the whole thing later on, but he says second one is development. We continue to say we are a developing nation, and actually we are developed in many areas, but we are ashamed to say that. If you look at these lot of these IIT people and all, the moment they finish their course, they prefer to go to the United States rather than doing something in our own country. So that is why this government, the BJP government under Modi, though I'm not saying it's a good government or anything, but the startups are given a lot of money. The startups are given a lot of money. So the youngsters are encouraged. Even in MCC, I think from this year onwards, now from last year onwards, we started encouraging the innovation of the students. Aditya, please. So we started encouraging the students, because students will have, or the youth will have so many ideas. To implement those ideas, there should be a platform, there should be encouragement. So even MCC now tries to encourage students with the ideation club, the MCC innovation park, etc. And a lot of funding can be got. Government itself is interested. So that all makes us, we are truly developed. We need not go to another country. They are already developed. So here, use the potentialities, the talents of our own youth to develop our own country. Okay, so he explains that later on. So we'll move on to the third thing. And third is, India must be a role model. So that is, India must stand up to the world. I have a third vision. India must stand up to the world. What is stand up to the world? India should be a role model. ROLE, okay, role model. Because I believe that unless India stands up to the world, no one will respect us. Only strength respects strength. We must be strong not only as a military power but also as an economic power. Both must go hand in hand. My good fortune was to have worked with 3 great minds: Dr. Vikram Sarabhai of the Department of Space, Professor Satish Dhawan, who succeeded him, and Dr. Brahm Prakash, father of nuclear material. I was lucky to have worked with all three of them closely and consider this the great opportunity of my life. I see four milestones in my career. So he says next is India should be a role model, and that is what we see in space and technology. Science, we have developed so much. Even the vaccine, as I told you, when none of the world could think. See, we consider China to be a great economic power. China has developed its own vaccine, Sinopharm. UK is a developed country. UK has its own vaccine, AstraZeneca, which we call as Covishield. India has our own vaccine, Covaxin. So India is one of the great nations, within a short time. And Covaxin is actually good. I took Covaxin. It's not because I took, I'm saying that. It's our own. It's tried, tested technology. And India was able to eradicate smallpox and polio with the same, the kind of vaccine which is developed by ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research. So India's scientists are really, really good. But because it is India, we also say, India. So we should be proud of our achievements. India should be strong enough to popularize our achievements. If we don't do that, who else will do? Do you think Pakistan is going to speak about India's achievements? No. Do you think Bangladesh is going to speak about India's achievements? No. Do you think Sri Lanka is going to speak about India's achievements? No. Do you think America is going to speak about India's achievements? No. Do you think Australia is going to speak about India's achievements? No. So who should do it? We Indians. All of us have got that responsibility to propagate or to popularize our achievements. And that's why Dr. Abdul Kalam says, he was fortunate to have great people. Vikram Sarabhai was the best name that we can have. That's why you have in Trivandrum and in this place, our Sriharikota, Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, VSSC. And Vikram Sarabhai's wife, Mallika Sarabhai, was a famous Bharatanatyam dancer. She's from Tamil Nadu. Famous Bharatanatyam dancer, Mallika Sarabhai. And Mrinalini Sarabhai, that's sisters. So you find, the family itself is contributed. Look at the Tatas. Now Air India has come back to the Tatas who first started the aircraft or the flying industry. So that's something great for us. It's our own. And he further, as you read it, you can understand what Abdul Kalam is saying. 20 years I spent in ISRO. ISRO is Indian Space Research Organization. ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization. 20 years I spent in ISRO. I was given the opportunity to be the project director for India's first satellite launch vehicle, SLV-3, the one that launched Rohini. These years played a very important role in my life of scientist. After my ISRO years, I joined DRDO. What is DRDO? Defense Research and Development Organization. ISRO is Indian Space Research Organization and DRDO is Defense Research and Development Organization. After my ISRO years, I joined DRDO and got a chance to be part of India's guided missile program. It was my second bliss when APNI met its mission requirements in 1994. So he was part of this first phase mission. Department of Atomic Energy and DRDO had this tremendous partnership in recent nuclear tests on May 11th and 13th. This was the third bliss, the joy of participating with my team in these nuclear tests and proving to the world that India can make it, that we are no longer a developing nation but one of them. It made me feel very proud as an Indian. The fact that we have now developed for me a re-entry structure for which we have developed this new material, a very light material called carbon. So this was a discovery made by India, carbon. Now what is special about carbon was that it was very light. The weight is not very heavy. Otherwise, to send a rocket up, it's very difficult. You need lots of energy to push that rocket, propelling it up. But India developed this particular material, carbon, which he says is useful not only to the space Department of Space, but also to the medical field, the orthodontics. Now, what his specialty is, I don't know whether you've seen it. He explains that in the next paragraph. Have you seen people who are walking in crutches? Suppose they met with an accident, something like that, in the crutches vechittu they walk. So today you get very lightweight crutches made out of this carbon. Earlier it was very heavy. So as it is, the leg is not there. Either some disease, the leg is amputated or cut, or due to an accident, they don't have a leg. In the trains and all, you can see people in the crutches, which they used to go asking, begging for money. So earlier, it was very heavy. So they found it very difficult to carry this crutches or calipers as it is called. But now with this carbon material which was invented in India, it was very lightweight. So the people with disability could walk faster. See, look at how India is giving to the world. So that is why he says India is a developed country. We should be proud of our achievements. Okay? Next paragraph speaks about these calipers. One day, an orthopedic surgeon from Nizam Institute of Medical Sciences, Hyderabad, visited my laboratory. He Harish, he visited my laboratory. He lifted the material and found it so light that he took me to his hospital and showed me his patients. There were these little girls and boys with heavy metallic calipers weighing over 3 kgs each, dragging their feet around. He said to me, "Please remove the pain of my patients." In 3 weeks, we made these flow reaction orthosis 300-gram calipers. From 3 kg, it has come to 300 grams and took them to the orthopedic center. The children didn't believe the load on their legs. They could now move about. Their parents had tears in their eyes. That was my fourth bliss. So much of happiness Abdul Kalam could feel. They discovered that carbon material for the rockets, so that the rockets will take less time and less energy to go into space. But when this friend of his, the doctor, orthopedic doctor, just took that material in hand, he said, this is very light. I'll take you to the hospital where there are children. You know the weight of children, small children, hardly 15 kg or 20 kgs. And they are made to carry this 3 kg and walk around. So Dr. Abdul Kalam said, okay, we'll try to make calipers or crutches made of this carbon, which is very light, which weighed only 300 grams. 1000 grams make 1 kg. So 3000 grams from that it has been reduced to 300 grams. So it was very light that the children could move up and down very quickly. It's a great happiness for Dr. Abdul Kalam. So not only in space and technology, even with regard to seeing the happiness of small children, he felt he could contribute something. That India so embarrassed to recognize a great nation. We have seen. I don't know whether you know milk we produce. It's in the Amul products. That is from a place called Anand.
White Revolution.
Yes, very good, Daniel. It's called White Revolution. I think Amul is actually Anand Milk Union Limited or something like that. That's the full form for Amul. You find all these Amul products, Amul ice cream, etc. So Amul, that was started in a place in Gujarat called as Anand by and he was the one who started this organized way of increasing the milk production because milk is good for health. There were a lot of malnourishment in India. Children, they died because they did not get milk. So he started it. He revolutionized it. And that is why we are first in milk production. We are number one in remote sensing satellites. We are the second largest producer of wheat. We are the second largest producer of rice. So look at where we stand first and second. But still we say India. Ayyo. But actually we live a very royal life, I can say. At least here in our country, if you want to get somebody to help you with the plumbing or those kind of jobs, people will come, okay, or Europe or all those countries. No one is there to help you out. You don't get a domestic maid, you don't get a helper. And I've seen people making their own houses because labor charges are very high abroad, very high. So most of them during the weekends they try to do the work by themselves. Petrol, you go to the petrol bunk to fill petrol for your vehicle, two-wheeler or four-wheel minutes, person, we keep on honking because we want to finish it off fast and then go. And if it is a big crowd over there, relying, we'll go and go to the next petrol bunk, which is less crowded or less, uh, no, where we can finish off the work quickly. We go to the United States, there is no person to, in நம்ம இங்க petrol bunk போய் someone will say, sir, இது clean பண்ணணுமா, glass clean பண்ணணுமா. By the time they fill the petrol, some of them will, free of charge, some of them will clean the glass, everything and give you. Whereas you go abroad, you yourself will have to you have to park the car, then take your card. You yourself will have to enter all those details, credit or debit or whatever it is, and then take what the pump. Fill petrol by yourself. If you want to clean, of course, things are mechanized. That I understand. Maintenance will be there. The few in the then go to the place in the